Hi, my name is Peter, also known as Master P on PCApex.com and themodnationforums.com. Today I'm going to show you a really quick and simple mod that you can do to your keyboard, whether it's a Logitech G15 like the one I have here, or any other keyboard for that matter. It's quicker and easier than painting, using MNPCTech.com's vinyl film. Today I'm going to be using the MNPCTech.com carbon fibre film, but you can do it with all their other flavours that they have on their website. Go check them out. Logitech G15, which is what I'm going to be modding today, is this little sucker right here. It's one of the more popular gaming keyboards out there, primarily because it's got a little cool flip-out LCD screen there, and has USB ports. You can disable your Windows key, so when you're playing a game, you don't end up killing your game and popping up a stupid little window. It has 18 of these programmable keys on the side, which you can assign to macros, just about anything you want. And each one of these little buttons up here refreshes these keys, so you can have 3 different settings per key if you really want to. I'm going to be modding this with MNPCTech's carbon fibre film, which is this stuff here. It's really cool stuff. You really have to see it in person to believe it. It looks just like carbon fibre, and it can be purchased in 24-inch by 15-inch sheets, which is what you're going to need to do a whole keyboard. You can get 2 keyboards out of each sheet as well, which is kind of cool. So if you know somebody that you want to mod their keyboard with, go for that, or you can mod your mouse. You can do so much stuff with this. You can even add it to your monitor. Basically, it's like a huge sticker. It'll stick to anything that you put it on. Very cool stuff. Anyway, I'm going to show you how we go about doing this now. I'm not going to use this sheet because I've done my own keyboard. This one belongs to a work colleague of mine. So I've got a spare sheet, well, half sheet right here, which is still big enough to cover this. Now, the way that I've gone and done this, you can do it your own way if you really want to, is to basically take 2 sheets of paper, like A4 paper, sellotape them together to get yourself a rough template of what you're going to be cutting out of the film. So I'm just going to lay this over, and the way that I actually did it was to just take a regular pencil, nothing special, and basically anchor the paper down at one point and try to find the little spot sort of down here between the silver and the black. And what you do is you find that spot there and use the edge of the pencil. And what you can do with that edge of the pencil is just do a bit of a rubbing, and you'll be able to see how the edge actually shows up. Okay? You don't have to be too accurate with this. Basically what you're trying to do here is just get yourself an idea of roughly how big the film is that you're going to need. If you keep doing a rubbing like this, you'll end up noticing that there is you end up with a more vivid line about where you want to be. It doesn't have to be, like I said, too proper. Kind of got that done now. It's really, really rough. There's nothing particularly beautiful about that. But what I'm going to do is just set this keyboard aside for a minute. Take the carbon fibre sheet of film, flip the design over to the top. You can see here how it's kind of is about half the size anyway. Move on to my trusty cutting mat. Take a knife. You can use scissors for this as well, and just go nuts. So first of all, I'm just going to trim that there. Get rid of that. Now, when you're actually trimming this stuff out, it's always a good idea to leave a little bit extra. So leave maybe about, I don't know, about 1 centimetre around the edges, all round. That's yeah, it's about ½ an inch for you American folks. Now, pulling this keyboard back. Pulling this keyboard back, if I stick it over the top there, you can see we've got plenty of room. Right, the next thing we're going to do is to disassemble the keyboard partially. We need to do this so we can get the film on properly. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the keys out. Now, I don't know how many of you have taken keys out of a keyboard before. It's actually a lot easier than you think. The most important thing to do, first of all, is if you have a camera, take some photos of exactly where the keys are, or if you have another keyboard that is exactly the same, keep that handy, because if you put the keys back wrong, it's going to cause all sorts of problems. Great practical joke to play on your co-workers though. And even though this guy does work with me, I'm a bit scared of him and he might beat me up, so I'm not going to do that. To take the keys out of a keyboard, you need a ballpoint pen, and what you do is you just jimmy the keys. Sorry, I'll just zoom in here for you. Okay, basically you stick it in between a whole bunch of the keys, like that, wiggle it around a bit until you feel it lift, and then just pops out like that. Nothing particularly tough. Okay, here's another one as well. I won't do it right next to it, but I'll do the E key. You just put that ballpoint pen in there. Just jimmy it out a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, but the keys have little clips on them, and that's all that holds them in. So they're reasonably sturdy. Just take your time with taking the keys out though, because yeah, it'd absolutely suck if you broke one. Another thing worth noting is that the large keys like your shift key, enter key, spacebar, all that sort of stuff, they're actually designed a little bit different on this keyboard. So I'll just pop one of them out. These ones here, there's actually a couple of little metal wires on the shift key, and there's only one sort of connector on there as well, so they just come out a little bit differently. Now the way that I normally take these keys apart from a keyboard is I actually like to put them somewhere else and actually make sure that they're the right way around, and I like to stack them so they're all in order anyway, so I don't have to refer back to my photos unless it's an absolute emergency. Right, to disassemble the keyboard a bit further, you flip it over. We've got a whole bunch of screw holes all around this. You're going to need to remove all the screws that you see, just using a plain Phillips head screwdriver. When you're taking stuff apart, it's a really good idea, especially when you're unscrewing things, to remember which holes the screws went in, because sometimes manufacturers like to use different size screws. In this case I don't have to worry, because I know I've already done my other keyboard that all the screws are exactly the same on the whole unit. To keep them safe, I just use like a little clear plastic container to pop them all in, resealable, just so it's easy to get to. I mean, you can use a bag, but I do recommend that you keep all the screws together, otherwise you might end up with some missing. Now that we've got our screws undone, what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the LCD panel on this, and we're going to have to try to pry this baby open. Now if you go in between, like on the very front of the unit, there is a join. You just stick your thumbs in there, and you need to basically use a little bit of force, not too much, and make sure that the force is straight up, just so it pops the little clips. You can use like a screwdriver to pry in there. If you are going to use something, it's a good idea to make sure that it's not going to do anything like cut the product at all. Sometimes you might find it does stick a little bit. Now when you get round to the back, I recommend you flip the LCD screen out, because there's actually a cable that connects the LCD screen to the main PCB assembly inside the keyboard. And by flipping it out, you actually give yourself a little bit of extra slack to work with, just so you don't damage anything. So we get round in here.